Welcome back, amateur detectives, to Shadowrun Returns. It has been a bit, but we are back. Now, if you'll recall, we are investigating the murder of our friend Sam Watts. Now, we've got a couple leads to go on. First is a, quote, spooky character with some, obviously, medical attachments to him, but we found a connection to a series of murders that have been known as the Ripper murders, funnily enough. And our leads so far have brought us to here, the Seamstress Union. As always, I am the Clockwork Ronin, and me and my little Doberman here are going to see what we can find out. Let's go talk to Cherry Bomb. Let's go talk to Cherry Bomb. The bartender is a striking elf sporting a perfectly toned body, perfectly pouty lips, and perfectly tapered ears. Her eyes harmonize save me and take me in equal measure, hitting just the right notes for the maximum extraction of tips. Hey there. I haven't seen you here before. What can I get you? Give me something dirty in a clean glass. Ooh, a hard case. I like that. Okay, hard case. I'll get you something stiff. And the innuendo starts already. She starts to turn away when a man with the face of a survivor and the zeal of a convert tugs at her arm, hard. It's clear the two have a history. They try to keep their voices low, but the intensity of their conversation makes them easy to overhear. Jerry, you have to listen to me. If you stick around here, you could end up dead, or worse. The Ripper is out there and he's real. That last killing happened just down the block, and now Coyote's missing. They'll probably find her tomorrow in a dumpster without her head. Come on, Cherry Bomb, think. I think plenty, Shane. I'm getting a Ph frickin' D from UW in neuroprosthetics, studying under Ogemons. And how am I paying for it? Bartending. Tips. There are faster ways for a Baron's girl to learn that kind of scratch, but I'm not taking them. So what do you want from me? I want what you want, a better life, a better world for everyone. The Universal Brotherhood can give you that. I've heard all this before. This isn't some trick to get us back together. Things are different now. I'm different now. The Brotherhood... Cherry Bomb's pretty face is hard, armored in lipstick and low expectations. The Universal Brotherhood is for other people, Shane. Rich Bellevue types who can't afford their membership fees and voluntary donations. This isn't about money. It's binding together the world in brotherhood. Come with me. Attend a discovery meeting. Get to the core of who you are. I heard Lynn Telestrian give a talk last night called The New Family of the Sixth World. I've got a family right here, Shane. They're drunks and lowlives and whores, and I choose them over any of your Brotherhood members. Now, Buzz, I need to get back to work. With body language that leaves no question that the conversation is over, Cherry Bomb turns her back on him. Now, we've just met Shane. Shane is a member of the Universal Brotherhood, and we'll find out a little bit more about them later, but it's very, very funny to listen to him talk. Sorry, I got interrupted. I heard he's got the strength of the righteous, doesn't he? Or we could say boyfriend, friend, and religion, which is actually what I'm going to say. Her pretty eyes narrow. Something like that. You've got the look that says you're not here just for the entertainment. You a badge? Nope. I didn't think so. Very trusting, isn't she, ladies and gentlemen? You look like a runner to me. We're trained to spot a bronze the minute they walk in here. Something I can help you with? I do have a few questions. Ask away. Well, tell me about this place. Some come here for booze, some for companionship. Others are looking for something they can't get anywhere else. If it's illegal or immoral, and it can be bought, sold, rented, or consumed, you can probably find it here. The Union seems to attract people like you. Jesus. What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, who's that guy you were talking to? Shane, old boyfriend. He used to work here. Then one day he saw the billboard for the Universal Brotherhood, and that was that. Went to meetings, made new friends, moved in with them. I was happy for him, until he started coming around trying to recruit me. I don't need that track. That guy mentioned Coyote. Is she here? She looks worried. No, I think she's away on business. Business, huh? Is she a shaman with a name like Coyote? She laughs. No. She shot a coyote once, thinking it was a shaman who double-crossed her. We've been calling her Coyote ever since. Her face falls. She's been missing for a couple of days now. Some people think that the Ripper got her, but I know her. Coyote can take care of herself. We might have to search her out then. But in the meantime, have you ever heard of Sam Watts? She nods. Sam was a regular customer and a regular pain in the ass for as long as I've been here. Talked a big game, but he was always broke. As soon as he got any money in his pocket, it went straight to his head. Chips, drugs, or booze. Coyote had a soft spot for him, though. Did you see Sam on the night he died? No, that was Coyote's shift. Who runs this place? I want to talk to him. That'd be Miss Kubota. She's in the back room. You can't miss her. Wiz, thanks for the intel. I appreciate the help. Gutter punks have to stick together. Cheers. Alright, so we have somebody else to talk to. But in the meantime, there's some other people here. We're going to be learning a little bit more about them sooner rather than later, but still. Let's talk to Eric Mersman over here.
Hey guy, I got some extra outfits I'm trying to unload. You want first dibs?
Yeah, sure, what the hell. Eric here is actually our first shop of the game. Now, with different clothes come different benefits. For right now, if we go look at my equipment, I'm not actually wearing anything cool. I got my gun, I got my I got my drone, but that's about it. So we're actually going to buy something for us to wear. Now, if we read the text down here, it tells us a little bit about what each of these things are. So we can have things like a secure Decker's clothing, which is just basic armor. You can see it just gives us an armor of 1. Doesn't do anything else. But if we go up here to the top, to Alley Punk, dressed 1 step above a street ganger, but it grants HP plus 3. So each of the cool ones, each of the good clothes, do give you at least some benefit. Now, intelligence is what this character is built around. And we have a little bit of money to spare. So I'm actually going to buy the black hat. The coolest hat in the shadows that grants intelligence plus 1. Yoink. And we're going to confirm it. Now we can actually get a chance to put it on here, which is very easy, because then I get to sell it quick. What we were wearing was secure Rigger's clothing. Basic clothing for the Shadowrunning Rigger. The drone guy. Alright, so we get a little extra armor, intelligence, and a nifty black hat. And apparently I'm bald now. Yeah, well. Let's confirm. It reloads to show the change. And actually I'm going to sell my clothing back to Eric. Because that's what you do in a bar. For $37. And we're done with Eric right now. So let's see who's back here. Besides Nerps. Who are you? Jin Parks. The Asian woman's expression reads, open for business, but her demeanor reads dealer rather than companion. She has a jack on her neck, a gun on her hip, and a chip on her shoulder. She eyes you with a sneer. Now, you remember back in the first episode, ladies and gentlemen, that I said that I loved the writing in this game? I really do. It's really, really film noir-ish, and I love film noir. You look like you can use some firepower. Something simple. I got guns so smart they practically fire themselves. You looking for tech? Got some of that too, if that's the way you roll. Yeah, show me what you got. Alright, so we have an AK-97 right now. That's what we're using. Damage 10, long range, and an ammo capacity of 24. Now, there are a few other things we could use. We could get a pistol, which I'm not going to do. Essentially, those are the basic weapons for each of the builds you could possibly use. And we have the potential of getting another drone, a smoker drone, which I actually don't like using because I find it useless. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to sneeze. We could also buy grenades, which are actually very handy, but don't intend to use them, including a concussion grenade, which is good for sapping people's AP, their action points. But I've got enough right now, don't need any repair kits, nothing like that. So we actually don't need anything from her. Yet. Let's see what else this place has to offer. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to meet my absolute favorite character, at least as far as I've played so far. Now, you remember in the very first episode when I was talking about trolls, how one of my favorite characters was a troll? Well, this is Mr. Kluwe. Let's see what he's got to say. No, let's see what Mr. Kluwe has to say. God damn it, game. Fucking talk to the troll. Thank you. Posted in the doorway to the VIP section is a tower of troll muscle wrapped in an impossibly tailored suit. Whether the product of good genes or expensive aftermarket cosmetic work, the troll's gleaming horns perfectly frame his face, and his polished tusks and goatee accentuate the set of a lantern jaw.
Welcome. Please behave yourself.
This is Mr. Kluwe. I like him. Will do. Do you get trouble in here often?
Nothing a stern look can't usually solve. You have business here?
I'm looking into the death of Sam Watts.
Heard about that. Real shame what happened to him.
There's a sharpness in Kluwe's eyes, the look of a man who has seen much and earned wisdom at a young age. I figure Sam was the type who needed to be thrown out on occasion.
Encouraged to call it a night, I'd say. Sam was a drunk, but he usually wasn't a violent one.
Usually. What about the night he died?
He was a bit agitated, didn't catch the specifics. Might have been over a woman. Thought I was going to have to show him out, but I had to deal with a couple of rival go-gangers posturing for one of the working girls upstairs. Jake helped Sam out instead.
I appreciate you talking to me, Mr. Kluwe.
Happy to help.
And he is. Yes, we already talked to him. But, because I've never said this to him. Funny place for the architect to put a wall.
Load-bearing, too.
I like Mr. Kluwe. Alright, he doesn't tell us anything new, thank you. Yes, thank you. Ba-ba-ba. Alright. So we got a couple people in here we're going to talk to. Miss Kubota is right here. We have Noog. And Johnny Clean, an inexplicably well-placed janitor. Also, that's a lot of fucking cyber, and I'm glad I don't have to fight him. Let's talk to Johnny. Jesus Christ, game. The man is dressed like a janitor, but is wearing unusually clean overalls. He's tall, rail-thin, and has a cunning look in his eyes that says he's more than just a maintenance man. Howdy. Name's Johnny Clean. You new? Yeah, first time. Just getting a look at the place. Well, enjoy yourself. This looks like your type of place. I'm just sweeping up a bit. You know, next time we meet him, I every time I see his face, I keep picturing Scruffy the janitor. I don't know why, but hey. Let's talk to Noog. That face.
This is magic, troll.
Covered in glowing magical talismans and fetishes, the troll does not seem fully of this world, as evidenced by that gaze right there. He mumbles to himself constantly, apparently participating in several conversations at once, but with entities you can neither see nor hear. I told you it's not like that at all. Bring me proof and you shall have it. I'm honored, your majesty. That was why I said to use mustard instead of catsup. Forgive me, John. I was a fool. He looks you in the eyes, his other conversations on hold. You may peruse my magical wares and see their glory. No thank you, I'm not interested, for I am not magical. Noog. Anyway, Ms. Kubota. Now, I don't have a voice for her. Mrs. Kubota watches you cross the room, sizing you up as you approach. As you get closer, you can see that she's of mixed race, African and Japanese. Her demeanor says, "This is my house. Mess with it at your peril. but her eyes twinkle with a playful light when she speaks. Konbanwa, good evening. Konbanwa, good evening. Are you enjoying the Seamstress Union? There should be plenty for a man like you to enjoy. She eyes you closely. Or is this business? I just need a moment of your time, Miss Kubota. I have topics to discuss. Sokka, and why should I help you? Sam Watts. I'm looking for his killer. Her face brightens, amused. Ah, so you are the little insurance policy he would go on about when he was drunk. He is a avenging angel who would strike back for him from beyond the grave. What do you wish to know? Well, let's start with this. How well did you know Sam? I knew him. We all did. Sam was a regular here. Whenever he could beg or borrow enough nuyen to become altered in some way. Drugs, chips, alcohol, it didn't matter to Sam. As long as he was bent, he was always looking for his next fix. He clung to this place like it was his lifeline, and we treated him as part of the family, even if none of us truly liked him, except for Coyote. Did you see Sam on the night of his death? He was here, quite inebriated as he often was. Coyote was working bar that night, and she informed me that Sam was getting rowdy and belligerent with other customers. When I requested he leave, he refused. My bouncer, Mr. Kluwe, was off dealing with another issue, so I requested that Jake escort Sam out the back door to the alley. That was the last I saw of either of them. I see. Now tell me, why is this place called the Seamstress Union? Because, inexplicably, I'm curious. During the gold rush years, there was a census, and the politicians wanted as high a number as possible to gain power and revenue. To bolster their numbers, they decided to include all the working girls, of which there were many, to the rolls. However, given the times, they could not list the girls' true occupation, so they entered them all as seamstresses. When a girl accumulated enough money to open her own place of business, she named it the Seamstress Union, so potential workers would know that they would be treated fairly there, and thus a rich tradition was born. So, you're a former seamstress? No. Perhaps when we know each other more, I will reveal more about myself. For now, enjoy the union. One more question. Can you tell me where to find Coyote? Her face darkens. Would that I could. I have not seen her in 2 days. She is a smart woman and quite dangerous, but I fear for her. If she's smart, why fear for her? Because she is in a dangerous line of work, and there is always someone smarter, more prepared. Her room is upstairs. If you are going to look for her, I invite you to examine it. You may be able to uncover her whereabouts. I would not normally portray her privacy in this way, but she's missed 2 shifts now and cannot be reached on her comm. It is unlike her. If something has happened, I will not have inaction on my conscience. Here's the key. Pure businesswoman, Miss Kubota. Thank you very much. Let's go up and see her. Now, this is one of the first areas in the game where you're presented with the old school RPG way of making sure you're always able to complete the mission and giving you multiple ways to do it, not just straightforward ways. For example, this door is locked. Now, intuition says we got to get in there somehow. But let's take a look at the computer. There's a mid-grade security panel attached to the nearby door. It's set to require a password for entry. Requires decking 2 to get into it, which we don't have, so we're going to leave the panel alone. But let's take a look in here. Looks nice. Alright, my magical mystery mouse says there's nothing over here except a beat it jacket. So, next room. Next room, please. Thank you. Ah, this is the one I'm looking for. All these things to look for. Now, this is the computer. This is going to be one of the first things we have to figure out. Coyote's computer is ancient, probably fished out of a junkyard. Doesn't even have a data jack, and the cracked display is covered with fingerprints. Tapping the keyboard causes the dust-caked fans to spin up, only to display on-screen password. Without the password, the only other button on screen is a password recovery option, which we don't have the decking to do. We could select password recovery, see what happens. Please answer 3 security questions to reset password. Question 1, your first childhood pet. I don't fucking know. Fido? Your favorite musical act? Maria Mercurial, because I've actually heard of that name before, sadly. What is the name of your hometown? I don't fucking know. Let's say she was born in Denver. Answer stored. Your security answers were incorrect and it kicks us out. That said, it's not permanent, so don't worry. Now, this is one of those times when the game will leave various clues around. For example, a framed painting of the Chicago skyline done in stylized silhouette. Let's write that down, ladies and gentlemen. At the TV, the stand is littered with action movies and cigarette butts. That doesn't really tell us anything. But let's go see what this is. Actually, let's not see what that is yet. There was a thing down here. Looks like Coyote keeps her clothes in boxes on the floor, like she's always ready to move. Now let's go look at this. Coyote's bed is a diary with several pages sticking out of it. Let's open to the first page. There's a receipt stuck between the pages and a diary entry. Let's inspect the receipt first. A receipt for a Browning Max Power pistol from Gin Park downstairs with a note saying how big guns on hot women turn her on. Quite. And let's read the diary entry. I came down from my shift to find 4 of Paco's goons sleeping on our apartment floor. It's getting fraggin' ridiculous. I want to be with him, with the real Paco. But this Cutter Drek keeps messing everything up. I love him, but he's totally different with the gang. It's how I can make cash, baby, he always says. I try to tell him he doesn't need the cash. I can support us both with what I make at the Seamstress Union. But he still goes on those runs, with those bozos all over my floor. I feel like he's just seeing how far he can push me before I kick him out. I try to be patient, but why does it have to be all one way? As soon as the last Cutter was out the door, I lost it. I told him if he ever pulled shit like that again, that he would be sleeping in the alley. Of course, he begged and pleaded with me, telling me it wouldn't happen again. I don't want to deal with this anymore, but I don't want him to leave. He's the reason I got through all that stuff last year. Got my bartending license. Got this... I'm sorry, folks. My computer decided to have a fit. Where were we? Of course, he begged and pleaded with me, telling me it wouldn't happen again. I don't want to deal with this anymore, but I don't want him to leave. He's the reason I got through all that stuff last year. Got my bartending license. Got this apartment and this life. I know he cares about me and loves me more than his involvement with the Cutters. I just wish I could slice out the gang from our life together. Slice out the fear that comes along with it. And let's move along, shall we? You guys ever feel like voyeurs when we read through these diaries and RPGs? I certainly do. Let's take a look at the second paper. It has a handwritten poem on it, and a diary entry. Awesome. A poem. Ah, good. I couldn't remember if it actually had one. I'm glad it didn't. Let's just say that Paco should stick to guns and motorcycles and leave the poetry to others. But there's also a diary entry here. Sometimes it seems like Paco reads my mind, or my diary. Maybe he does the latter. I wouldn't be surprised. Hi, Paco! Ever since last week, he hasn't mentioned the Cutters once. He leaves the apartment with a "see you in a few hours, babe," and returns later without comment. I don't know if he's really going to help, if it's really going to help for us to avoid the subject in conversations completely, but I have felt better without our constant arguing about it. The last 2 weeks I've come home from work to Paco waiting up for me, slouching on the old dumpster couch with a novel 4 inches from his face. I imagine that as I turn the key in the door, he perks up and makes himself look especially studious for when I get to the door. He seems superficially surprised to see me, but I love his little act. Okay, I had my doubts about Paco before, but he's kind of getting to me. He sounds like a good guy. Now in the third paper, there's a receipt and an old photograph stuck between the pages. Let's take a look at the receipt. A COD receipt for a special order, 5 pounds of zebra meat. Okay. From Maury's Meat Emporium, located near Pike Place Market. It's good to know that in 2056, zebra meat isn't that hard to get a hold of in Seattle. More power to us. Let's take a look at the picture. The picture shows a young girl with caramel skin and dark brown hair. She has a snake wrapped around her arm, yet she's smiling. The back of the photograph has shadow scrawled on it. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's flip to a different page. And here we have the fourth piece of paper. A receipt for a wall safe installed near the bathroom door, set to a combination of 342-436. Now, fair disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, I restarted the game and didn't notice that I was not recording, so I actually did pick that up. We moused over this before when I got into the room and there was nothing. When I got that diary entry, there was a magnifying glass here. I went over and investigated, and I found a grenade. Very, very handy, just not so much in a safe. But we have almost all the information we need, so let's take a look here. Password recovery. First childhood pet would be Shadow the Snake. Favorite musical act? I always forget this damn one. I think it's the Shadows. What is the name of your hometown? Chicago, Windy City. Fuck. Alright, I'm going to pause really quick when I figure this out. It's mostly going to be trial and error, but I'll show you if I find it again, where I find the answers. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Turns out that the answer was actually Starfire. You know two pieces of the code. You know Chicago and you know Shadow the Snake, so it's as easy as process of elimination. I can't remember if there's actually a way to figure out that it's them. Anyway, your password has been reset to this. For security, never write down your password. Logging you in. The computer has a basic list of applications, including a calendar, some contacts, and some access history, and notice we gained some karma there. See the calendar. 3 days ago, meet with Delilah about gig. Today, meet Paco for date at Pike Place Market, due in 30 minutes. Okay. Coyote's contact list is exactly one entry, someone named Paco. There is no comlink number or other contact information for him available. This does not seem like a very useful list of contacts. Indeed. That said, she remembers her boyfriend's name. That is a good thing. Access history. A quick scan of her recent searches shows that Coyote has been reading a great deal about hellhounds. It also suggests more than a casual interest in vintage action figures. It's kind of good that we don't see any of those around here. But hellhounds are an actual thing in Shadowrun, ladies and gentlemen. We will be meeting those later, and I don't fucking like hellhounds. But we will be. So we're going to leave the computer. We have a lead now. Miss Kubota is our next objective. And if you'll recall, we have a receipt here for some zebra meat, which will be phenomenally useful, I assure you. But we have one more thing here. We need decking to be at 2 to get in here. Now let's see if I can do this. We have 12 karma points to spend, so we should have enough. And we go down to intelligence and go to decking. Remember, guys, karma is 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3. That's how the leveling scheme works. So we're going to level up here. First level of decking lets us equip our basic cyber deck. And level 2 allows us to mark a target, increasing our chance to hit enemies by 10% when used. That is specifically in the Matrix, guys, not outside of it. But I'm not going to be the one running the Matrix. I'm also going to start putting some points into Charisma, because I want that second etiquette now. Now, I'm a Shadowrunner. I'm not just an academic. So it figures that I should start talking like one. Now we have 2 points to spend left. I'm going to save that, because I want it for either drone control or drone combat. Unless, do I want to put it into anything involving weaponry? Could get the next level of range combat. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Alright, that's all our karma spent. And we can get in here. We can hack the panel. No hacking minigame, but we're in. Let's see what's available here. Inside we find a actually rather plush, though wasted apartment, and a large teddy bear. Stuffed bear seems to be hiding something. It's looking all shifty at me. there was some drugs in the teddy bear. So apparently this is where the Hell's Angels like to hang out, in this apartment. Yeah. But we have a lead now. We know where we're going to start to look for Coyote, as she seems to be the last one to see Sam, except for, well, we already talked to the other guy to see Sam. But Coyote kind of cared about him. I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen, in Shadowrun.